Angles Introduction by McKenna Shendell. So, if we start out with a single ray that is x, y, we can see so it starts here at x and it passes through y. So we get the ray xy. If we were to add on to x the point z, which is a new ray, our new ray is xz, we form this figure, which is kind of like a triangle. But in this inner corner, we form an angle. And from this, we can see that x is the vertex of this angle, which is the vertex in between both of these rays. And when you have two rays that share the same vertex, that is a common definition of an angle. So if we were to label this angle, you'd be like, oh, well, why wouldn't we just label it x, because that's what falls in between here. But how we would actually label it is either yxz to specify that we're talking about right here, or we would label it the other way, zxy. So we're talking about right here, like this angle, but we have to specify using the three letters rather than just the one in the middle. We have to do this because if you had rays that are intersecting to form four different angles, you can't tell by just the one letter, because as you can see, this angle, this angle, this angle, and that angle would all be S, because of the fact that the midpoint for all of these angles, the common vertex for all of the rays, is S. So we could name all of them S, but that's not specific because they're all S when we need four separate angles, because we're talking about four separate angles. So we can list them out by each of their names. So this one could either be USV or VSU. This one here could be WSV or VSW. This one could be WST or TSW. And this one could be TSU or UST. If we're to continue and look at some more angles, we also notice that depending on what angle is formed, so like if we were to look back at this example, these ones are more closed than these two, so like those ones are more narrow, and these ones are a lot wider. And if we were to look at three together, we'd see that this one is very closed, this one is a little bit more open, and this one is the widest and most open of all of them. And the way that we measure angles is through their openness. So this one would be closed, so it would be a smaller degree. This one would be a little bit more open, so it would be larger than this one. And then this one is the most open and largest, so this would be bigger than all of them. So this one is larger than this one, but smaller than that one. And this one is larger than all of them, and this one is smaller than all of them. And if we were to do a rough example, we could say that this would be roughly 90 degrees. This one maybe like 45, so this could be an example of an acute angle. This could be an example of a right angle, and then we could say this is anywhere between 90 and 180 in that span, so it couldn't be 90 or 180, but it would be an obtuse angle if we were to measure it, but we haven't learned how to do that yet. So that, in summary, is the introduction of angles. I hope you enjoyed and learned something.